I never thought my life would end up on an auction block. But there I was, 16 years old, heart pounding like a jackhammer in a confetti factory, staring out at a room full of strangers who looked at me like I was yesterday's trash. Lot 17, Dylan Harper, versatile skill set, needs a firm hand. The auctioneer droned, his voice slick as oil on a used car lot, while whispers slithered through the crowd, words like troubled and deviant hitting me harder than any fist ever had. And then, in the split second before the gavel fell silent, a man in the back row raised his paddle, his eyes locking onto mine with a quiet fire that said he saw more than the label they'd slapped on me. That paddle changed everything. Or at least, it was supposed to. But as the bids trickled to a pathetic halt, no one else wanted the gay boy, as the small-town gossips in Elmwood, Michigan, had branded me long before that godforsaken charity auction. I felt the weight of every rejection crash down like the autumn rains flooding the Huron River. My foster mom, Mrs. Hargrove, had signed me up for this hopeful heart's adoption fair, a desperate grab for cash in our broke-ass county, where kids like me were packaged and sold to the highest bidder for mentorship or whatever bullshit they called it to make it legal. She thought it'd get me off her couch and into someone else's nightmare. I thought it'd finally prove I was worth something. Instead, it just amplified the echo of my bio dad's last words before he bailed. "You're not my son anymore." The auction hall smelled like stale coffee and desperation. A converted VFW post with faded American flags drooping from the rafters like they were tired of saluting failures. I've been shuffled through 5 foster homes in 3 years since Mom died in that car wreck on I-75. Cancer treatments had left her broke, and the state didn't give a damn about a kid who got caught kissing a boy behind the bleachers at junior prom. Promiscuous behavior, they called it in the reports, as if holding hands was a crime worse than the bruises from the last foster dad's belt. Each home spat me out faster than the last. The religious zealots who prayed the gay away. The couple who wanted a fixer-upper but couldn't handle the cracks. The single mom whose boyfriend leered too long. By the time Mrs. Hargrove's turn came, I was a ghost in my own skin, 16, lanky as a cornstalk, with messy dark hair that never stayed combed and eyes that Mrs. Hargrove said looked haunted, like you've seen the devil himself. But I hadn't seen the devil, just mirrors. And in them, I saw a kid who loved too fiercely, who dreamed of boys in flannel shirts and pickup trucks, who quoted Whitman in secret notebooks because no one else in Elmwood High gave a shit about poetry unless it was on a football jersey. The auction was her Hail Mary. Pitch me to the well-off folks from the suburbs of Flint or Saginaw, the ones who drove in for the feel-good event, sipping Chardonnay while bidding on at-risk youth like we were antique clocks. My bio sheet, a joke, Dylan, athletic build, loves outdoors, seeking stable environment. They left out the part about the panic attacks that hit when someone yelled faggot in hallways, or how I'd once swallowed a handful of pills just to stop the noise in my head. As the auctioneer cleared his throat and flipped to my page, the room hushed. Starting bid, $200 for a year of guidance. Remember, folks, every dollar helps our kids find their American dream. American dream. Yeah, right. Mine had died with Mom, buried under student loans and a headstone that read, "Beloved daughter, loving mother." I stood on the low stage, spotlights hot as interrogation lamps, wearing the thrift store button-down that itched like guilt. The crowd blurred into a sea of khakis and pearls, middle-aged couples, a few singles, all pretending this wasn't human trafficking dressed up as charity. $200 for Mrs. Ellis in the front, the auctioneer barked. Mrs. Ellis, the librarian who'd once shushed me for reading forbidden books. Her bid was pity, not promise. $250 from the Johnsons, The same Johnsons who'd withdrawn their foster application when they found out about my orientation. It climbed sluggishly to 300, then stalled. Whispers grew louder. Heard he's. You know, too old anyway, won't bond. My cheeks burned. Fists clenched at my sides. I wanted to scream. I'm right here. You cowards, bid or fuck off. But I just stared at the floor, counting the scuff marks like they were lifelines. Then, from the shadows near the exit, a paddle lifted. Clean, white, unassuming. 500, a voice said, deep, steady, with that Midwestern drawl that wrapped around vowels like kazoo. Heads turned. The auctioneer blinked, recovering with a grin. 500 from a gentleman in the back. Do I hear 6? Silence. The gavel hovered. Sold to bidder 42 for $500. I couldn't see him at first, the lights blinding me as I stumbled off stage into the cool down area, a folding table with lukewarm punch. Mrs. Hargrove hustled over, her perfume cloying as false hope. Well, Dylan, that's something. Better than nothing. She thrust a clipboard at me. Sign here. You're his now. His. Like property. My pen shook as I scrawled my name, the ink smudging like tears. When he approached, the crowd parted like he was Moses with a checkbook. Tall, broad-shouldered, maybe early 30s, with salt and pepper hair cropped short and a jaw that could have been chiseled from Lake Superior granite. He wore a faded Carhartt jacket over a plain tee. Jeans worn at the knees, working man, not the suit and tie crowd. His eyes, though hazel, sharp as a hawk's, pinned me in place. Dylan Harper? His handshake was firm, but not crushing. Calluses rough from. What? Farms? Factories? I'm Ethan Caldwell. Guess we're stuck with each other. Stuck. The word landed like a gut punch. I yanked my hand back, mumbling, yeah, lucky you. He chuckled, low and warm, like distant thunder over soy fields. Luck's got nothing to do with it. Come on, let's get out of this circus. As we walked to his truck, a beat-up Ford F-150 with mud-splattered plates from upstate Michigan, I stole glances. No wedding ring. No kid in the back seat. Just a thermos of coffee and a dog-eared copy of The Great Gatsby on the dash. Who the hell was this guy? The drive to his place was a blur of highway and silence. The radio humming old Springsteen tracks about Rust Belt ghosts. Elmwood faded in the rear view. Its grain silos and one stoplight, Main Street, giving way to thicker woods along the Shiawassee River. Ethan didn't pry. Didn't ask the usual, so. Why are you so angry? Bullshit. Instead, he talked about the land. How he bought his spread 5 years back after his folks passed, turning it into a small organic farm that supplied the farmers' markets in Lansing. Apples, mostly. Some berries. Keeps the demons at bay. Demons. I wondered if his looked like mine. His farm was no mansion, just a weathered 2-story Victorian with peeling blue paint, surrounded by orchards that stretched like golden veins in the October light. A wraparound porch sagged under the weight of Adirondack chairs, and a border collie named Scout bounded out, tail wagging like a metronome. Home sweet chaos, Ethan said, killing the engine. Inside smelled of wood smoke and cinnamon. The kitchen cluttered with mason jars of preserves and a fridge stocked with craft beer from Bell's Brewery. He showed me to a room upstairs, musty but mine, with a twin bed, a desk scarred from God knows, and a window overlooking the river where the water caught the sunset like spilled mercury. That first night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Was he one of those reform types, quoting Bible verses over breakfast? Or worse, the kind who saw me as a project, a notch on his savior belt, but morning brought coffee, black, strong as regret, and eggs scrambled with herbs from his garden. No strings here. Kid, he said over the formica table. Scout his feet. You stay as long as it works. Or doesn't. Your call. Simple. Too simple. I nodded, throat tight, and for the first time in years, I ate without the nod of what if they find out. Days blurred into a rhythm I didn't know I craved. Mornings, chopping wood or picking windfalls. The axe bite satisfying as therapy. Afternoons, Ethan teaching me the farm's quirks, how to graft apple science, the sweet spot for soil pH. Evenings, porch sits with fireflies dancing like drunk firemen. Him strumming a guitar to Dylan, Bob, not me, while I sketched in my notebook. Lines turning boys into landscapes. He never pushed about my past, but pieces slipped out, the prom fiasco, the Foster shuffle, the way I'd hidden love notes in Mom's old jewelry box. Sounds like you've been carrying a load heavier than these hay bales, he'd say, and damn if it didn't feel like absolution. But trust is a fragile thing, especially when your heart's been auctioned off. One night, after a storm rattled the shutters, I woke to voices downstairs, low. Urgent. Peeking from the landing, I saw Ethan on the phone, back to me, his shoulders hunched. Yeah, I know the risks, but he's just a kid. The agency's breathing down my neck about the background check. Agency? My blood iced. Was this temporary? Some trial run? I slipped back to bed, chest heaving, the old paranoia clawing in. He'll dump you too, once he knows you're broken. The next week brought the first real crack. We drove into town for supplies, Tractor Supply for feed, the co-op for seeds. At the checkout, a guy from my old high school, Jake Harlan, the quarterback who'd called me slurs but stared too long in the locker room, spotted me. Harper, that you with old man Caldwell. His laugh was barbed wire. Heard you got sold like a steer. But he's fixing to straighten you out. Ethan stiffened beside me, hand on my shoulder, protective, not possessive. Watch your mouth. Harlan, Dylan's worth 10 of you. Jake sneered. Yeah? Or is he your little secret? The words hung, toxic as Roundup spray. In the truck, silence festered. I exploded first. Why'd you bid? Pity? Some gay savior complex. Ethan's knuckles whitened on the wheel. Pity? Hell no. I saw a kid fighting not to drown. And I know what that's like. He pulled over by the river, killing the engine. My brother. He was like you. Out and proud before it was cool around here. AIDS took him in '98. I was too chicken shit to visit the hospital. Regrets a bitch. Dylan, when I saw you up there, alone, I couldn't let history repeat. His voice cracked, raw as split oak. Brother. Gay. Dead. The pieces clicked, his solitude. The Gatsby book, queer undertones and all. The way he never dated. Just farmed like penance. I wanted to bolt, but his honesty pinned me. I'm sorry, I whispered. He shook his head. Don't be. Just. Stay. Let me try to get it right this time. We sat there, the river murmuring secrets. And for a heartbeat, I believed in second chances. But secrets have a way of rotting from the inside. Fall deepened on the farm, leaves carpeting the orchard in crimson and gold. The air crisp with the promise of cider presses and harvest moons. Ethan and I fell into a groove that felt dangerously like family. Him showing me how to prune branches without killing the tree. Me helping with the books. Tallying sales from a Saturday market in a ledger that smelled of aged leather. He'd tease me about my city boy gripes. No Wi-Fi meant no endless scrolling through Grindr whispers or Tumblr poetry slams. But in the quiet, he'd share stories of his youth. Summers skinny dipping in the river with his brother Nate. Stolen kisses under willow trees. The ache of coming out into town where queer was shorthand for punchline. You're a lot like him, Ethan said one evening, as we bottled apple butter in the root cellar, the steam curling like ghosts. Stubborn heart, Sharp tongue. Nate would have liked you. Liked. Past tense. It stung. That goes between us. But also bridged something. For the first time, I talked about Mom, not the sanitized version from Foster interviews, but the real her, chain-smoking menthols on the trailer stoop, belting Patsy Cline off-key, teaching me to fry perch from the lake because real men cook. Baby, don't let him tell you different. Ethan listened, really listened, his hazel eyes steady as he stirred the pot. She sounds fierce. Like you, fierce. No one had called me that since the night I punched Jake Harlan after he cornered me in the gym showers. His breath hot with beer and hate. Faggot thinks he's tough. The bruise on my knuckles lasted weeks. The expulsion. Permanent. But here, with Ethan, fierceness felt like a gift, not a curse. We built a routine. Tuesday bonfires where he'd read aloud from Kerouac. The flames painting our faces in flickering gold. Thursday, runs along the river trail. My breaths syncing with his, legs burning in tandem. Once, after a particularly grueling 5-miler, we collapsed on a dock, shirts damp, laughing at Scout's frantic swims. His hand brushed mine, accidental, electric, and neither pulled away. The air hummed, thick with unspoken what-ifs. But he stood first, offering a grin. Water's cold, don't tempt fate. Temptation simmered, though low and insistent. I'd catch him watching me across the breakfast table, a softness in his gaze that mirrored Nate's old photos on the mantel, same crooked smile, same quiet strength. Was it projection, pity, or something real, blooming slow like the late apples? I buried it in work, hauling crates till my back screamed. But nights brought dreams, Ethan's laugh echoing in orchards, his arms a harbor against the storm, waking tangled in sheets, heart racing. I'd curse myself. He's your guardian, dumbass. Not your. But the word lodged, sweet and forbidden. Then came Thanksgiving, that all-American gut punch of gratitude and ghosts. Ethan invited neighbors, a couple from down the road, the widow who ran the post office, but I begged off, claiming a headache. Truth, the holiday dredged up Mom's last one, turkey from the food bank. Her frail hand in mine as we watched the Macy's parade on a snowy TV screen. Promise me you'll chase your dreams. Dylan, even if they're rainbow-colored. I nodded, tears hot, not knowing it'd be our goodbye. I hid in the barn, forking hay to the horses, when Ethan's truck rumbled back early. Footsteps crunched. He appeared in the doorway, silhouette haloed by dusk. Hiding from Turkey, no judgment, just concern. I shrugged, pitchfork trembling. Holidays suck when you're alone. He stepped closer, hay dust motes dancing between us. You're not alone. Not anymore. His voice was gravel and grace. And before I could think, I dropped the tool, words tumbling. What if I am? What if I'm too messed up, too gay, too broken for this to work? He closed the gap, hands on my shoulders, warm, steady. Broken? Dylan, you're the strongest damn thing I've seen since Nate fought his diagnosis with that bull-headed grin. Gay, that's not a flaw. It's your fire. And this. He gestured to the farm, the fading light. This works because you're here. His thumbs brushed my collarbone, innocent as breath, but it ignited something primal. I leaned in, lips parting, please. Say yes, but he froze, eyes widening with a war I couldn't read. Kid, we can't. The rejection landed soft but sharp, like frost on skin. He pulled back, running a hand through his hair. It's not you. God, it's never you. But I'm supposed to be the adult here, the one keeping boundaries. Boundaries. The word echoed like a slammed door. I nodded, numb, mumbling excuses as I fled to my room. Curled under the quilt, tears soaking the pillow, I hated him, hated the almost, the what if he'd snatched away. But deeper, I hated myself for wanting, for hoping, for daring to dream of more than survival in this Rust Belt Eden. The next morning, awkwardness hung thick as fog over the river. Ethan overcompensated with chores, barking orders like a drill sergeant. I sulked, silent as the frost-rimed fields. Whispers from town didn't help. Jake Harlan's crew spreading rumors at the diner. Caldwell's got himself a pretty little stray. But it's not just farming they're doing. Ethan heard. Of course, his jaw set like concrete when he came home early from the co-op. Mud on his boots and fury in his eyes. Ignore the idiots, he growled over dinner. Canned chili. No eye contact. Small towns chew on anything fresh. But the chew marks festered. A week later, the real storm hit. Not weather, but paper. A letter from Child Services slid under the door like a venomous snake. Ethan read it aloud, voice flat. Mr. Caldwell, due to concerns raised by community members regarding the suitability of your household for minor Dylan Harper, specifically allegations of inappropriate conduct, we are initiating a review. A home visit is scheduled for December 15th. Allegations. From who? Harlan? Mrs. Hargrove. Cashing in on her cut? My stomach roiled. This is bullshit, I spat. They're just bigots pissed a queer kid got a roof. Ethan's face darkened. Not anger at me, but at the machine grinding us down. I know. But if they pull you? I can't fight the state. Dylan. Not without proof I'm stable. Stable. Code for straight. Married. Cookie cutter. He crumpled the letter, tossing it into the fire. Sparks flew, mirroring the rage in his eyes. We'll get through this. Lawyers. Appeals, whatever it takes. But doubt crept in, insidious as damp rot. That night, I overheard him on the phone again, in the study. Door ajar. Yeah, it's bad. The kid's got no one else. I can't let them take him. A pause. Voice dropping. No. Feelings complicated. He's Nate all over again. Nate. Always Nate. I pressed against the wall. Breath shallow. Was I just a stand-in? A ghost hunter? The betrayal burned. Hot and humiliating. Slamming my door later, I packed a duffel, essentials only, Mom's locket, my notebook, the cash from odd jobs. Screw this. I'll hitch to Detroit. Find a shelter. Anything but being your pity project. But as dawn broke, gray and unforgiving, Ethan knocked. Dylan? Talk to me. I cracked the door. Bag hidden. What for? I'm just your brother's echo. Find a real family. His face crumpled raw, unguarded. Echo. Jesus. No. Nate was my past. You're my now. I bid on you because from that stage, you looked at me like you saw me, not the farmer widower. And yeah, I feel things more than I should. That's why I pulled back. To protect you. Protect. From what? From him? From us? The confession hung. Electric. But so did the letter. The rumors. The ticking clock to the home visit. We didn't resolve it. Instead, we worked frantic, silent, prepping the farm for inspection, scrubbing floors till they gleamed, staging photos of wholesome activities. But under it all, a fracture widened. I wanted to believe him, to bridge the gap with a kiss that said we're worth the fight. He wanted to shield me, even if it meant distance. And as December's chill seeped in, I wondered if family was just another word for heartbreak. The home visit loomed like a guillotine. Ethan hired a pro bono lawyer from Lansing, a no-nonsense dyke named Rita, who chain-smoked outside and shredded the allegations like confetti. This smells like homophobia with a side of harassment, she declared over coffee, her buzz cut sharp as her wit. Harlan's got a history, Assault charges swept under the rug cause Daddy's the mayor. Mayor Harlan. Of course. The same prick who donated to the auction for photo ops. Then badmouthed Ethan for taking in strays. Rita coached us. Boundaries. Narratives. No incriminating touches. I played the reformed teen. Homework spread on the table. Chores logged like a Boy Scout merit badge. Ethan. The pillar. Steady job. Clean record. Mentoring with pure intent. But rehearsals cracked us. One night, practicing Q&A. The social worker's hypothetical. How do you address Dylan's sexual orientation? Hit like a sucker punch. Ethan faltered, with respect. It's part of who he is. I snorted. Part? It's all to these assholes. Tension snapped. I stormed out, kicking gravel down the drive. He followed, catching my arm under the stars, Orion's belt mocking our tangle. Dylan, stop running. His grip was fire, eyes pleading. I'm not running. You're building walls. Words failed. Instead, I surged forward, lips crashing into his, desperate, claiming. He stiffened, then melted, hands cupping my face as if I were porcelain. The kiss was cider sweet, river deep, years of loneliness pouring out in salt and heat. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. This changes everything, he whispered. Or nothing. If we fight for it, we chose fight. Mornings blurred into stolen glances, fingers brushing over breakfast like Morse code. But the visit arrived on a sleet-lashed afternoon. The caseworker, MS. Patel, clipboard in hand, poking through drawers like a detective. Questions flew, routines, conflicts, emotional dependencies. I stuck to script, but when she eyed the mantle photo of Nate, something shifted. Your brother? He passed from? Ethan's nod was steel. AIDS. Taught me love's not negotiable. MS. Patel softened, jotting notes. Harlan's shadow loomed, though anonymous tips cited in her file. Inappropriate relationship suspected. She left undecided, promising a ruling in days. The wait was agony. Ethan pacing like a caged wolf. Me sketching furious storms in my book. On the third night, a call shattered it. Rita's voice. Triumphant. Cleared. Harlan's recanting. Turns out his wife's got dirt on him. Relief flooded. But so did dread. Cleared meant stability, me staying. Officially. But our kiss. A secret now, weaponized by fear. That weekend, we celebrated small. Bonfire. Beers. Bob Dylan crooning tangled up in blue. Emboldened, Ethan pulled me close by the flames. No more walls. Your family. Dylan. More. If you'll have it. Have it. The word bloomed. Terrifying and true. I nodded, heart full. But as embers died, a truck's headlights pierced the dark, unmarked, ominous. 2 deputies spilled out, badges glinting. Ethan Caldwell, we need to talk. Complaint filed, harboring a minor in an illicit arrangement. Harlan. The bastard hadn't recanted. He'd escalated. Cuffed in the firelight. Ethan met my eyes, defiant, loving. It's okay. Kid. Get Rita. As they hauled him away, taillights fading into the woods. I stood frozen. The farm's silence screaming betrayal. Family? It was a lie we'd both chased, only to watch it auction away. The sheriff's station in Elmwood was a relic, linoleum floors sticky with decades of small-town sins. Fluorescent buzz like angry hornets. I burst through the doors at 2 a.m., Rita on speaker from her Lansing apartment. Her voice a lifeline. Sit tight. I'll be there by dawn. Don't say a word without me. The desk sergeant. A doughy guy with a mustache like a broom bristle. I mean like yesterday's suspect. You the kid from Caldwell's? Harlan's got stories. Stories. Lies spun from envy. The mayor's son lashing out because Ethan had once turned down his daddy's generous land offer. Too proud. Too queer adjacent for their liking. They stuck me in a holding room, vending machine coffee bitter as regret, while Rita worked angles. By sunrise, she stormed in, briefcase snapping like a whip. False arrest. No probable cause. Harlan's witness is his drunk buddy from the bar. The deputies squirmed. Ethan was released by noon, rumpled but unbroken. His hug in the parking lot fierce as a vow. Told you we'd fight, but the fight had teeth now. Harlan filed a civil suit, alleging moral corruption of a minor, dragging my past into court records, the prom kiss, foster reports, even mom's obituary twisted as unstable home. Winter clamped down hard, snow blanketing the orchard in hush white. But our world was a blizzard of lawyers and depositions. Ethan sold half his winter crop to cover fees, lines etching deeper around his eyes. I dropped senior year, homeschool packets gathering dust to help, manning the market stall solo while he testified. Objection. Relevance. Rita thundered in the county courthouse, a squat brick beast in Saginaw, as Harlan's attorney paraded evidence, blurry photos from a hidden camera. Me and Ethan laughing on the porch, arms slung casual. See? Inappropriate proximity. The gallery murmured, locals from Elmwood, faces eyed past in diners, now judging like Pharisees. Jake Harlan smirked from the back, his dad the mayor stone-faced in the front row. My turn came, sworn in, hands clammy on the Bible I didn't believe in. Dylan Harper, do you feel exploited by Mr. Caldwell? The attorney sneered, his cologne choking. I met his gaze, voice steady for the first time in months. Exploited? No. Saved? Yes. Ethan's the only one who saw me. Not the label, not the rumors. Harlan? He's just scared of what he can't control. Gasps rippled. Rita grinned like a shark. But the real gut punch waited in recess. A folder slid across the table by an anonymous hand. Court clerk. Maybe labeled sealed. Harper Family Records. Inside, my bio-dad's affidavit. Dated last year. I, Robert Harper, renounce all claims to Dylan due to his confirmed homosexual lifestyle, which conflicts with my religious beliefs. Renounce. Like I was a bad dad. Worse, a P.S. From the lawyer. Harlan's team subpoenaed this. Leverage. My knees buckled in the bathroom stall. Sobs racking silent. Dad hadn't just left. He'd weaponized his hate, selling me out for a payout, $5,000, wired to his account. I didn't tell Ethan. Not yet. The trial dragged into January. Our farm a fortress under siege. Reporters from the Flint Journal sniffing for scandal. Neighbors crossing streets. One night, after a brutal cross-exam where they grilled Ethan on Nate, so, repressed tendencies, Mr. Caldwell, he came home hollowed, collapsing on the couch with a fifth of bourbon. They'll take you, Dylan. Paint me as the predator. I knelt before him, hands on his knees. Then run with me. Detroit, Chicago, anywhere. His laugh was broken glass. Can't. This land's all I have left of Nate. Of us. Us. The word fractured me. That night, tangled in his bed, not crossing lines, just holding against the cold, I confessed the affidavit. His rage was quiet thunder, that bastard. I'll bury him. But morning brought resolve. We doubled down. Rita digging dirt on Harlan, tax evasions. A covered-up assault on a farmhand years back. The judge, a grizzled vet with a rainbow pin hidden in his chambers, Rita's intel. Smelled the rot. Case dismissed. He ruled on a Valentine's Day Eve, gavel cracking like hearts mending. Frivolous and malicious. Mayor Harlan, expect sanctions. Cheers erupted, Rita hugging me fierce, locals slinking out shamefaced. Ethan and I drove home through flurries, radio blasting Born to Run, windows down despite the freeze. At the farm, we burned the files in the barrel out back, ashes swirling like freed spirits. To new starts, he toasted with hot cider, pulling me into the porch swing. Our kiss then was victory, slow, reverent, sealing promises unspoken. No more ghosts, just us, building from the roots up. Spring thawed the fields, apple buds swelling like hope. I enrolled in community college, online lit courses, Whitman my anchor, while Ethan expanded the farm, adding a U-pick for families, turning strangers into allies. Jake Harlan got drafted to some podunk college team, tail between legs. His dad lost re-election in a landslide, Elmwood voting for progress in whispers. We navigated as careful, dates disguised as errands to an arbor, holding hands in indie bookstores, nights where touches lingered but respected the line till my 18th in June. That birthday, under a full strawberry moon, Ethan led me to the dock, the one from my dreams, water lapping gentle. A cake waited, lopsided, chocolate frosted, 18 candles flickering. No auctions anymore, he said, lighting them. You're free. I blew, wishing silent, stay forever. His gift? A key, not to the house, but to a plot in the orchard. Plant your tree here. Roots with mine. We kissed as the moon silvered the river. His arms my forever harbor. But freedom's a double-edged blade. Summer brought college apps, full ride to U of M, an arbor calling with its queer alliances and city pulse. Ethan beamed over acceptance letters, but shadows crept. You'll thrive there. Thrive. Without him, the fracture reopened. Old fears whispering he'll let you go. Arguments simmered, me accusing distance, him urging growth. Love isn't chains. Dylan, it's wings. Wings. I wanted roots. The breaking point came in August. Harvest heat waved sticky as unresolved tension. A letter arrived, not from services, but Ethan's doctor, routine checkup results. Flagged urgent. He hid it, but Scout's wine led me to the study drawer. HIV positive. Manageable with meds. Disclosed to partners. Partners. The word gutted me. Nate's shadow loomed huge, Ethan's penance. Now my terror. Why hide? Fear I'd run. Or worse, stay out of pity? Confrontation exploded over cider jugs in the barn. How long? I demanded, paper trembling. His face ashen, diagnosed last fall. Before the auction. Didn't want to scare you off. Scare. Betray. You think I'm a kid who can't handle truth? After everything. Tears hot. I stormed out. Duffel packed again, this time for real. Hitchhiking to an arbor. Thumb out in the dusk. I hitch a ride with a trucker blasting gospel. Irony bitter. College dorms welcome me. Rainbow flags. Open mics. Boys who flirted easy. But nights, I dreamed of orchards. Ethan's laugh echoing hollow. Months blurred, syllabi and hookups. Poetry slams where I read about the man who auctioned my heart. Friends urged therapy. I journaled fury into verses. Then, Thanksgiving, an invite from Ethan, neutral as frost. No pressure. Just pie. I went, hard-armored. The farm unchanged. But him, thinner, eyes shadowed. We talked civil, classes, crops, the new therapy dog he'd adopted. As snow dusted the porch, he handed a letter, his own words. Raw. I hid because I feared losing you. Not to the virus, but to my unworthiness. Nate died thinking I didn't fight hard enough. With you, I want to live fully, openly. If you'll teach me how. tears blurred ink. Idiot, I whispered, pulling him close. We've both been running. The kiss was homecoming, forged in fire, tempered by time. No rush to labels, just us, rebuilding. I deferred a semester, helping with the farm's expansion, a queer youth camp. Roots and Wings, funded by a grant Rita pulled strings for. Harlan's downfall, a footnote in the local paper. His empire crumbled by scandals. By spring, my tree bloomed, first apples tart and true. Ethan proposed under it, not with rings, but roots. Build with me? Not as kid and guardian, but equals. Equals. I said yes. The river witnessed to our vows, quiet, legal in a backyard ceremony with Rita officiating. Scout as ring bearer. No fanfare, just family. The kind we chose. Years on, the farm thrives, camps for kids like I was, auctions now for heirloom seeds, not souls. An arbor's a weekend drive, lectures balanced with harvests. Ethan's meds keep him steady. We get tested together. Love a deliberate dance. Some days, Elmwood still whispers, old bigots crossing streets, but we've got each other, and that's the real American dream. Not perfection, but persistence. From auction block to orchard heart, I learned family isn't bought or born, it's grown, one stubborn root at a time. And in the quiet dawns, as mist rises off the Shiawassee, Ethan's hand in mine feels like forever. No strangers here, just home.